Welcome to the Wrong Words Podcast, where we challenge conventional thinkers and explore the depths of language. Hosted by Oliver and Luvon, this podcast is more than a conversation. It's a community, a space for like-minded, contemporary, and unconventional thinkers to gather, question, and grow together. We believe words are powerful. They shape our emotions, define our thoughts, and convey our deepest love. But here's the question. Are we using them correctly? Or have words become a mask, concealing unresolved trauma and filling voids that they were never meant to satisfy? What if we've been misusing them all along? On this journey, we'll dig deeper into the meaning of the words we speak, asking if we even need them at all to express our truths. If you're ready to explore language like never before and to uncover how the wrong words can impact everything from relationships to self-perception, then you've come to the right place. Let's redefine the way we communicate together. You're listening to the Wrong Words Podcast.
What's up, everybody? What's going on, man?
What's happening, Doc?
We here.
Yes.
We here. Listen, this has been, this is the culmination of a conversation that we had while we were on the road, talking about something that would be impactful, something that we could do that would be a thing that would cause people to think. Maybe not tell them exactly what to think, but get them to think.
I know when we started this discussion, it started my thought process.
Indeed, indeed. And so for those of you who are checking this out for the first time, we're talking about none other than the Wrong Words Podcast. We are kicking off the Wrong Words Podcast, and this is going to be something that we are certain will be impactful in your life. It will cause you to think. We want you to engage, and we're just going to take some time in this first inaugural episode, if you will, just to share with you the vision, to share with you the format, what we're going to do, what we'd like to do, and how we'd like you to engage as well.
I think that's one of the most important parts. It's less about I, we.
Right.
We're really interested in hearing and sharing what they have to say.
We are. We're interested in hearing and sharing what they have to say. But first, so that people know who we are, right?
Okay.
It's not going to be about us, but you should at least know who you're listening to, right? So I'll let you kick it off, bro. Let the folks know who you are.
My name is Luvon, better known as Luvon.
Luvon, better known as Luvon.
That's it.
What's Luvon's contribution to the world?
Oh, that was asked of me over the years. And I think I finally landed in what my contribution actually is.
Okay.
And that's just honoring my word. First to myself. So that I could share that honor with the rest of the world.
I like that.
That's really what's important.
I like that. Luvon is a very humble individual too, and in honoring that, that has taken him down a lot of different pathways and has afforded him the opportunity to be a blessing in a lot of people's lives. But that will come out in our conversations as well. I'm Oliver Marcelle. Listen, I'm just a guy who's trying to do right.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, I'm a guy who's trying to do right. Again, have lived a lot of life, have seen a lot of things, and you'll hear about what we do in terms of, you know, the industries and spaces that we live in. It'll come out in our conversations. But just know that between the two of us, there's a wealth of experience. There are some varying degrees of experiences between the two of us that allow us actually to see things in some cases from different perspectives.
Yes.
Which I think will lend itself to this conversation in a way that will make it very enriching.
That's interesting that you say that, from different perspectives but they aligned in one sort of a direction.
Yes.
There is no absolute, hence why the podcast is called Wrong Words.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't opinions. These are just defined by the dictionary. But more importantly, how do we use the words?
How do we use the words?
And are we aware of the definitions?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, like the definition is a fact.
Right.
The emotion that we tie to the word is something completely different.
Mm. Man, you jumping in already. We supposed to just be introducing them to
No, I'm just saying, Doc.
Yeah.
All these words evoke an emotion. They do.
You're right.
And once we try to pollinate, fact into emotion, that's really when the fight breaks out. Like you don't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you've heard this before. You don't understand what I'm saying. And the other person's retort is, but I heard what you said.
Right. Right.
So
which begs the question, and you heard it in the intro, which begs the question, are there even instances where we even need to use certain words?
Yeah.
And we're going to dig into all of that. So you're going to get the perspective from someone who is, I call him a business guru. He might not take that name, but I call him a business guru. So you're going to get perspective from someone who has seen the world, has lived some varied experiences, has started, run businesses. You're going to get the perspective of somebody who has lived life a little bit differently, but ended up in the coaching space and doing some things there. Both authors, both have a love for words and a love for people and a love for knowledge and a love for impact. And so with that, Wrong Words, we're just going to be talking about words.
That's it.
We're going to be talking about words. We have a bunch of words that we have already come up with where we will really be digging into them. And when we say digging into them, I'm talking about looking at the dictionary definitions of these words, looking at the etymology of these words. So are we looking at Old English? Are we looking at Indo-European root of the word? We're really going to dig, because having that level of context is going to be crucial to the conversation.
Yes. But you know what's really crazy? Not being aware of words. How can we have healthy conversations?
That's true.
Yeah, because we could sit here, you and I, and chat all day long.
Yeah.
But if it's not healthy, then what are we really sharing?
Right. And we're using words frivolously.
Yes.
Which I think many of us have done.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Doc. When we chose these 52 words and we begin to just, loosely chat about them,
mm-hmm.
It was interesting how many words I didn't know how to apply the application.
Me as well.
But then when you started digging into the Hebrew word
mm-hmm.
of it and the root word of it and how it's used, and then you backed it up with some scripture, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it gives it a whole different outlook.
It's like, right? I got to remove some words from my lexicon.
Right. Maybe there's some things that we're saying wrong. And so you're going to get all of that. Those of you who are listening, or if you're watching, and let me say this as well, you'll be able to see these episodes. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to listen to the audio version of these episodes wherever podcasts are listened to. So you'll get to do that. And we're going to dig a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the definition. We're going to talk about the root and its origin. We're going to talk about Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic. There are some scriptural references because we are both individuals who recognize the need for God and what that existence, the role that existence plays.
So wait.
Mm-hmm.
As not to offend any of the listeners.
Exactly.
Let's keep God real simple in this context. Before you change the channel, before you throw your hands up, GOD is good, orderly direction. If we can keep it that simple, this is not a spiritual conversation. We just reference things that create good, orderly direction. Starting with the definition of the word. That creates an origin of how, what, when, where, who. The Hebrew gives us sort of some substance to how this English word was originated or translated. The scripture reference gives it a foundation of some examples. So we're not pointing out Christianity, Baptist. We're not doing that. We're just talking about words and their usage.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear that up real quick.
Indeed, and I like that you gave that overarching definition of how this is going to play out. And so, listen, what we want you all to do, you, the audience, we want you to engage. We want you to think about these words. We want to think about how we're using the word. Are we using it incorrectly? And if so, what does that look like? And what are the things that using the word incorrectly has done in our lives? And then we want to look at some ways that we can use the word correctly.
Correct.
And give you something to think about at the end of each episode that hopefully will allow you now to do your due diligence as it relates to the words that you speak.
And inside of this conversation, we look for your feedback. Let's start a conversation. Let's chat. Send us messages. Send us your opinion, your viewpoint, your posture.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, every time you send an idea that's rooted in some historical data. What we're talking about is let's throw away everything we may know. Let's throw away what our mamas, our daddies, our school, our religion have taught us and focus on the word. Let's not tie the word to anything else except the word.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
That makes sense. Listen, I love it. I'm excited. I hope that you all are excited as well. We are going to have a really good time as we walk through wrong words. And so buckle up, get ready. Make sure you check out all the episodes. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well, because subscribing allows it to get in front of more people. Make sure that you also leave a review of the podcast, because the review also allows us to grow our audience. And we want to create a community around this, right? So this is not just about what we think. This is about building community that looks at life a certain way.
Yes.
All right. So listen, get ready, buckle up, and we're going to jump right in to these episodes. So we hope that you follow us and that you go along for the journey with us as we travel through Wrong Words with the Wrong Words podcast.
So wait, do you want to drop something like a word that we're thinking about using as the first episode so that they can come back?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's do a drum roll real quick. What's that word, Brother Oliver?
That word that I think will be the first one is love.
Oh, my God. Did we come out hitting them over the head that?
We trying to come out the gate swinging.
Whew. All I know is when you sent me what it is, then you sent me the Hebrew and then the Greek of what it is. I said, wait.
Yeah.
I must be doing something wrong with that one word.
That's going to be an interesting conversation.
It will, Doc.
So there's your preview, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are following us, become a part of this community, and take this ride with us. We're looking forward to having you.
Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you for joining us on the Wrong Words podcast. We're so glad you took the time to listen, and we hope this episode gave you something to think about, question, and explore. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. We'd also love for you to rate and review the show. Your feedback helps us reach more people with these important discussions. And don't keep it to yourself. Share this podcast with someone who might find it helpful or inspiring. Be sure to subscribe to the Wrong Words podcast on YouTube for more content, and follow us on social media to stay connected and to be a part of the community we're building. Until next time, God bless.